Well, welcome back. We are going to chat about winter blues. And I know this may not be for everyone, or you may go through ups and downs. So I share this because, the winter can bring about very biological pieces that there's some pieces we can control and there's some pieces that we can't. And so I thought this was a really good topic. Um, if for chance you're looking for goals and all of that jazz, remember last January I did a really big one about goals and stuff, but I think this one ties really nice for like the winter months, this the like new year, all of it. And so I think this is going to be just a really good, even if it's not something that you're like, I'm still doing all the things, just a really good reminder of this season and kind of what's going in on our bodies. So our goal is just talking a little bit about how we rebuild capacity in the wintertime and, how we talk to ourselves throughout this period too, because that's where, me, that's where it usually happens, is in the mind. Um, Not all of it, but good job. So I think the big things that we're gonna hit is um really understanding like the winter energy and what is happening with your body and how it actually does challenge your system. Like you're not imagining it, it's real. Um, your motivation isn't gone or disappeared. There is a lot happening chemically in your body and capability. And we're going to talk about capability and capacity because those two can easily get confused. And they're very much a powerhouse piece to this puzzle. And then we're going to talk about like what's draining you, taking away from your energy and how to, you know, keep in motion, keep energy, keep clarity, keep momentum as we're in these winter months. So let's go. Excuse me. I think one of the big things that happens is like winter hits us so differently, right? At first, it's kind of like subtle, and I feel like the holidays, we kind of like go into winter during the holidays, but there's so much happening that we almost kind of like it's like we almost like put it to the side a little bit. And then I feel like January, like after the holidays, like even that week from like, you know, Christmas time to New Year's is very like this different energy comes in. And so you start feeling maybe a little bit more tired. Maybe even feel like you're like not as on, like the fire's not there. You're not like, oh, let's hustle, let's go. Like it's, all the things, New Year, all of it, let's go. And you're like, I want that. I want to let's go. But right now, I'm feeling like I need a nap. I feel like I just want to like curl down and hibernate with all of the animals, right? Um, your workouts might feel heavier mentally, emotionally, physically. Food might feel more challenging right now than any other time. And you, like I said, you want to be here, you want to show up, but your body almost feels like we're a turtle moving through molasses, right? It's like you're almost feeling this natural slowdown. And this is kind of where things start to go this way because things that were feeling like normal habits, like your steps and your water and, all of these things that you've done, they almost feel like, what's happening? Like, why can't I get it together? That's usually like I know how to do these things. I was doing these things, I was crushing it, and now I just feel like, ugh. Um, Almost like that. Like I hear a lot of like, I feel lazy right now, or I should be further ahead, right? Like it's January, and sometimes we get to reflecting what happened a year ago, what happened, what's been happening. And a lot of this, like, almost internal talk of like, well, I should be further ahead. I should have done more last year. Now I really need to hustle because I feel further behind. Almost like, what's going on with me? That kind of vibe. Or I hear a lot too, like I feel really off. Like I don't feel like me. Um, and a lot of times it's like I just need to get it together. Like, let's go. And then like I said, the New Year hustle, like it's the new year, like I need to hustle. But there's also this like almost like tug of war happening where you're like, I also just really need rest. Like that's what I feel like my body's asking for. And so this is sometimes where people start going off on their own little journey, right? Mentally. Because there's things that we almost start like trying to almost put this like label or this like this is not me and why is this like almost like this ruminating of thoughts and like who you are and why you're not on top of it, why you're not motivated. But there is a very real shift happening here. And I'm sure you know this. Like, so please don't, hopefully you don't take this as like, I know, Sierra, like I know there's less sunlight. I know my body is processing like the world differently. There's less hours in the day, not really less hours, but it feels like it almost with the sun that goes down early, right? It's dark in the morning, it's dark at like 4. I mean, depending on where you are. But and I also feel like there's this like heavy emotional load that comes with all of this. And I think the big thing, and we'll talk a little bit more here in a second, is your body is always surprise. Like I haven't said this before. It's always trying to talk to you, right? Your body is always, always, always communicating with you. And it's a signaling. It's like, hey, hello. And we're like, shh, don't, shh, no, I've got all these goals, let's go. And that to me is like the biggest backfire because when we don't listen to our body, that's usually where we run into more trouble, right? We run into a lot of friction and with ourselves, with our energy, with motivation, with discipline, with all of it. And so the big thing here is during this time of year, we just really want to like get into this place where we start realizing like, hey, there is a lot of real pieces to how I'm feeling, right? And I already kind of said these things with like all of the thoughts and the mindset pieces, but I put them bigger because this is so itty bitty here. Um, but what we're really seeing is this mismatch of your capability and your capacity. And I promise we'll talk more about those too, because you're like, what's the difference? Like, what is the difference between my capability and my capacity? And I'm sure you're getting the like gist of it, but they can almost get like almost like the same, and they're not. So when this happens, right? We tend to be like, okay, right? I need to get it together. I should be further ahead. It's new year. The hustle mode is on. Let's go. So what do we tend to do? Because we're like, I'm not settling for mediocre. I'm not going to allow this to continue. Like, let's go, right? But we end up almost forcing instead of flowing. And I'm going to talk probably a lot about that. Maybe not, but you may. So forewarning. Um, but we start forcing ourselves. Your body's like, hey, I really need more rest. Hey, I really just feel lower energy. Hey, and you're like, no, grind harder, add the cardio, right? Like more discipline, more rules. Almost as like if you don't do this, like total beat down, right? Um, Even there's a lot of expectation, like I should be motivated this time of year. And trying to kind of push through when your body is like, full stop, please. And you're like, no, shh, shh. And then your body, eventually, what does it do? It will put you down eventually. If we don't listen, that's usually where we get sick and then we like go down hard. It's not like, oh, I just have a little cold. It's like, go down, you're down. So I think this pressure um, is always what we feel like is the go-to, like pressure, 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 go hard, hustle harder, do more rules, more. And I know I've probably said this too, but if forcing worked, it would have happened and it would have stuck. Like it would have been sticky and we would have been like, cool, forcing is awesome. It always, it always comes through for me. Um, but what we really need to do is find a flow, right? Instead of forcing. Because every time we're working with our body, with ourself, with where we are, with what we need, you are going to one, stay in momentum, and two, not feel this intense friction and intense, like this intense, like internal world, intense, like everything, like physical world, cognitive, all of it. So, this is the big thing that, you know, we do not want to go down that rabbit hole, especially right now. And like, it's funny because I will 100% call myself out in this situation because I'm in prep mode, right? And I am doing a prep through these winter months. And I have been laughing as I was making this presentation because I was like, yeah, my body is definitely feeling like just reality. Like I want to like sleep more and I want to like rest and pull back. And luckily, this prep versus my last prep, I have more food, I have way less cardio. So that's winning already. But I know there'll probably be a time things change and things bump up. And I'm like, I know there is going to be more. So I know I'm being almost hypocritical. I am going to be forcing, but I'm also not in normal life. So I share that to be like, hey, if you see me on the social media, force like going hard and you're like, no, how can she go hard and I can't? Remind yourself, like, I have a very strict deadline. I have a show date, I have a timeline, I have everything that I'm working toward, and I chose this. Nobody's forcing me. So I am really actually trying to work in the flow instead of forcing, even in this prep and even like really listening to my body. I've been going to bed an hour earlier-ish, not quite, but ish, and just to like help support that. So, just feel like I needed to share that. So, what's actually happening right now is, we always are like, I'm not motivated, I'm lazy, all the things that are we're telling Patricia sitting here being like, do, 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 do. But what's really happening is we're overstimulated, right? Winter hits, your energy takes a dip, and we'll talk more about like what's literally happening in the body. And things literally do feel harder. Like you're not imagining it. You're not like, oh. And what does our brain do when things feel like this and we are overstimulated and we're trying to force, force, force? Your brain's like, no, let's stay in the cozy zone because this will keep us safe. And that's what your body and your brain is always trying to do. It's always in this space of like, I need to keep you safe. I need to keep you happy. And the unfortunate part is our body's doing one thing, and then we're like, no, right? No, go hard. Why can't you get it together? Go hard. Like, let's go, new year. Like, ah. And then what happens? We get more overwhelmed, and then we think that's going to propel us forward when really it just pushes us back more into that cozy zone, which makes sense. Like literally the body's just like too much happening. Ah, what do we do? Go to what we know, right? Go to the easiest thing. Makes sense, right? So the biggest thing I want you to think about is you have the capability. You are capable. This is something that's stable, that you have this potential, right? You have the capability to do anything. I truly believe that. And what we're thinking is like our potential and what we're capable of is the problem, when really it's our capacity. And our capacity is ever changing. It flows with what's happening in our life. It's happening with like the stressors, it's happening with what you have during this season or what maybe you've gotten sick or like, all of these things. Our capacity for handling that, one, we can stretch and grow, but two, that can sometimes take, time to build and to stretch. And sometimes we just want to do it like this, right? So what happens is we kind of misinterpret what's happening. And we end up getting just this massive misalignment with self. And then what we see is I'm self-sabotaging. I'm self-sabotaging. Well, I can't get it together and I keep doing it. I keep doing it. I keep doing it. And what your body is asking for is, again, I like to call it like a slingshot, right? Like we're pulling back and it feels like regression because it feels like I'm moving backward. But what we really want to do is we're pulling back so we can catapult forward. And that can always be, I think, the hardest part is we feel like I should be here. I should be doing what I was doing when it was summertime. But let's really pause for a minute and be like, I mean, we all know I'm the same way. Like when it's summertime, it's like, oh, the sun, and I just, I want to be outside and I want to frolic. And winter, I'm like, like cozy little cuddle blankets everywhere. Like I just want to hunker down. That's not like we're not making it up, right? So, talking about that, biology, what's happening? Okay, we are solar beings, right? We love the sun. Like our bodies personally just love the sun. And what ends up happening is obviously we know the sun goes down and everybody notices too, like when the sun goes down, or like we get less sunlight, or if, luckily I live in Colorado, but I know a lot of you guys out there are living in places where it's cloudy and dark and it's rainy and snowy. And I mean, it snowed here. Uh, kind of still sunny today, but it really does impact us. And this is how it does it. So the minute the sun lessens, right, our serotonin, which is our nice stability, our calm, our emotional safety, the feeling of like I feel okay in my body, like I feel like this calming over like goes down. So already think if we have low serotonin, we're going to feel more flat, more anxious, more irritable. You're going to be feeling off without having like a very like, oh, this happened, so I feel off. You're like, I just don't, I feel off, right? And it's like, what is it? It's the sun. It's the sun. And then what happens is serotonin is actually a precursor to dopamine, right? So what happens if serotonin lowers? Well, guess what else is going to lower? Your dopamine, which is your drive, your focus, your reward system. Like, I want to do it. Let's go. Like the let's go mode. Brr. So we've got our like stability force, brr, and then we've got our like drive and focus coming down. And so obviously, right, you're already like, got it. Motivation, drive, everything feels heavier and harder. You are literally not making it up. And this is where it can be like that piece where people are like, I just need to get motivated. I just need to get motivated. And here I have to go on this little random tangent, so I apologize. But motivation is always going to be your hype girl. Like she's like a person in my mind. So, you know, I have lots of people in my mind. I sound like a crazy person. But it's like she's like, "Hey, let's go. We're gonna tomorrow." It's when you don't have to do the thing, right? She shows up, you're not doing the thing. You're thinking about the thing, you're planning the thing, all of that. But she is the most fickle friend. She's like, she is there to pump you up, but she leaves when you like need her in the action sense. Like, let's go do it. And you're like, she's like, peace. Like, I'm out. I did my job. I got her hyped. Or you might just be like, there is no hype. Like, she's not even showing up. That's fine. We don't need her. We don't. Um, and if we wait for motivation, winter will always win out, right? Winter will always pull us to cozy zone. Always. Always. And so I share this because when I was talking about earlier, like this is real, this is what's really chemically happening in our body. And this is why you may be like, every winter, I just feel like a turtle in molasses, or I feel like I want to have that, like, New Year goals, reflection, all of those things that sometimes we do, the vision boards, like all of it. And then you're like, like, it's like, I want this, but I'm not in the right mode. My body is signaling, hey, we're not in go mode yet. Guess what time that will be? Probably spring, summer, and even into fall, right? We get that like, whew, it makes sense, right? Sun's out. Sun's out, we're feeling good. And for the record, if I didn't put this in here, and I probably should, but there are like sun lamps that you can get that can help mimic those things and help with that. And if there is sunlight, I know I talked about this like in the training about like getting sunlight and going outside and grounding and all of that. But even things like a grounding mat can really help. If you can get out in the sun, like even if it's like out and you can just go stand in it, like your body will thank you. And it will thank you. And you'll notice you're like, I just feel better. Like I did nothing but just stand in the sun and I feel more alive. Yes, you will. So if possible, I know it's not always. The other thing I would say is most people in general are already vitamin D deficient. Now, do not just go buy a bottle of vitamin D3. Do not. It will take the calcium out of your bones. So do not just get vitamin D3. You always want to do, you can easily find this on Amazon. I personally use bulk supplements. You can also use Thorne. They're great, but you want a D3 plus K2. You want the K2 because it will keep calcium in your bones. And as us for women, we do not want, we are more prone to osteoporosis. I mean, good news is we train and that helps with building your bones. A weighted vest will not. A vibration plate will also not help build your bones. But in the wintertime, I personally, and I'm not saying you do, but I personally take more vitamin D because I am not outside when it is nighttime. I try to, but that's just not the reality of my world. And I have a sneaky feeling for most of us, you probably might need a vitamin D3 plus K2 supplementation. So I share that because those things can help support during this time of year. I'm not saying you need them. Definitely talk with your coach. Cool. So this is what things can kind of look like. You might notice you're more hungry, snacky around that, like, I call it the snacking hour, 3 to 5, like right before dinner, right? Like as you're getting home, maybe from work or like you're taking children places, that 3 to 5 time frame is real. You want like more comfort food. You notice you're like, like this sounds so good, or carbs sound so good, right? Carbs energy. Comfort food makes us feel better. We get a dopamine hit. So if we go back, dopamine, we are trying to naturally, our body's like, hey, we're trying to get dopamine. We're trying to get this. And so it's naturally doing, like, it's naturally calling to you for these types of foods. So you're not crazy again. If you're like, oh, I've been craving this and that, or I've been wanting carbs out the wazoo, it makes sense, right? Netflix, or it may not even be Netflix. It might be like anything feels easier than the gym because you're literally getting home at 7 o'clock at night. You're like, I'm tired. It's dark. I'm not motivated. We can stack up all the real things. And then we're just like, "Ugh, I don't want to go to the gym. So I'll just go tomorrow," right? We kind of tell ourselves like, oh, I'll shift things this week, knowing full well that if we shift things, it's not going to change personally this time of year and how we're feeling, right? Um, I am so queen of this one. Don't want to walk in the cold. That's me. I'm a pansy, and that's fine. I'll own it. I will. But just remind yourself too, like you have other ways. It is now 2026. There are so many other ways we can walk and get in steps without having to step outside. So I know most of us probably have walking pads or a treadmill or something. Use it. End of story. You might be craving more sleep, so you sleep in. You might feel more sensitive, more emotional, more reactive than you do. Like you might not be handling stress as well. It makes sense, right? Our calm and like stability and all of that, we have more, like we said, more anxiety, more irritable. It makes sense that we're not handling normal life things as smoothly, right? As maybe summertime. Simple tasks might just feel harder, and you probably do just want to stay in and rest, or you might even be like, I don't feel like cooking, or I don't feel like eating my meal prep, and all of those things, right? So this is where we tend to, like I said, we're overstimulated, right? So we have these like we tend to go into a freeze mode, right? Where we go into like a self-protective mode. And it's our body, again, the body's just communicating. It's like, too much. And then we think something's wrong. No. So I like to think of it as like three different zones because usually we are aware before we get to the red zone, which is like shut down, full shutdown. So green is we're good. Like, the days you're feeling more on or you're crushing, you're productive, you're like, the day's just flowing really well. Um, we get that. Yellow zone. Sorry, that's kind of hard to read, but yellow zone, you're overstimulated. You already know it's like I already feel too much. Like I'm noticing this and I'm like already like getting more irritated, more agitated, all of that. You're already sensing it and you're still kind of ignoring it, right? That's when we go to the red zone where we literally will just freeze and shut it down. Like your body's like, no more, we're done. I'm shutting you down. And so that's what happens. We stress, right? We're overwhelmed, overstimulated, overloaded. And what does our body do? It's like we need to be safe. Something's wrong. We need to shut down. So we freeze, right? And when we freeze, we pull back. We withdraw. We're like, no more. I just stop. And then what do? We shame, right? We beat up. We go down this rabbit hole of like, get it together. Why can't you do it? And then what do? We go even harder to freeze zone. We go more into that cozy zone. And that is this cycle, right? That we don't want to stay in. Because the more we do this, the more we're not going to start. Like we're not going to keep in any motion. And then we do wait. We do sit here. And like I said, if we try to wait for motivation to pop in, winter will win. Winter is already working against us biologically, like just internal systems. We can't just be like, okay, like I'm gonna one day here get motivated and then I'll crush it. It's like we just know it's not gonna happen. That's okay. So, like I said, when we like try to fight ourselves, when we don't reduce the friction, your system will choose freeze, right? Protection mode. It is literally just like protect, protect, protect. And so it can feel like I can't start this. Like everything feels really, really heavy. Um, Overwhelmed. Like I said, overwhelmed, overstimulated, overloaded, over um by just simple things. Like you're like, this is not hard. Just do it. You want to do the things, but it's almost like your body's like, no, like don't. Like you're like literally like my body's saying no. Um, or my favorite in freeze mode, and I think a lot of people do this, I go and research more. I go to seek motivation, right? So you go on Instagram, you go on the TikToks. I mean, oh my gosh, I know I am so behind on like all the social media things because like there are like I know there's threads now and all of these places. So you might just go looking and be like, okay, if social media is going to be a dopamine hit, no surprise you want to scroll or something like that. But you might start looking, right, researching, planning, like, okay, if I just plan and like really like detail this out, or oh, I need something new and exciting. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but what we do is we go, it looks like I'm doing, right? Like this is my favorite one where we're freezing. We're not doing anything, but we think we are because we're like, I'm planning and I'm researching and I'm thinking about it and I haven't stopped thinking and I keep thinking about this and maybe I should do this and maybe I need to do a like this thing over here I saw on social media because now I'm like maybe I need a vibration plate or I need to do Pilates, or maybe I need to do that parasite cleanse, or whatever I need to now walk with a weighted vest 7 times a week, whatever it is. And there will be always new things. But you think about it and you're researching it and you're not doing anything. We're just getting more and more and more information, and your brain literally cannot process what's useful and what's useless information. So you're giving your brain more, 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 right? When we need less. And so we think we're being really productive, but we're really doing nothing but adding to the overwhelm. And so this is not a flaw. And I know it feels like, no, I want to get out of freeze mode. It's the nervous system just asking you to be safe. Like it's like fearing, and it is like, ah, so it is trying to protect you. And so once we understand this mode and even can recognize like, okay, which one are you? Because I can tell you 100%, I'm the like overwhelmed by like little simple things, or I start to be like, ooh, I should go plan, right? I need to go have this all together right now, do it. And or I need to like go look through and like look to see what else I need to do, right? Like forcing more, right? Like we talked about at the very, very beginning, like adding more things, more discipline, more rules, when it's like we don't need more. We may need less. And that can be hard for us to take in, right? So we want to reduce the friction, right? This less approach, right? And so it's not this place where we tend to be like, why can't I get myself to do this? It might sound different in your mind, but that's kind of like the big overarching thought. It's like, come on, let's hustle, let's go, whatever it is. So instead of that, let's try, what inputs does my nervous system need right now? You can even, I know inputs might feel like a weird word, but like you can literally go like, what is my nervous system asking for right now, right? And what feels doable, realistic, and sustainable right now, right? And because in this low serotonin, low dopamine, right, both, you don't want to sometimes. Now, if you're crushing it, like listen to me, if you're crushing it and you're like, I'm in such a great place, I don't feel this way, then go, right? Like, please, like, you don't need to reduce the friction. If you're in it, you're thriving, go. Like, I'm not telling you to stop. But if you're noticing these things about yourself and it's very real, very real for us, then we change inputs and we change the friction, right? So less on this motivation piece. We need less. We don't need to think about her. She's not showing up. Like we can just expect her to not be here. Got it? Like just expect motivation not to pop up until spring. Like be like, she's gonna come up with the flowers. Cool. See you sometime, hopefully. So don't feel like right now motivation is coming. She's not. We need more structure. And I don't mean more as in more discipline, more rules. No, we need a structure that we can do, that feels realistic, and that's sustainable, right? We need smaller actions, right? Smaller actions that create momentum. And instead of trying, which we do this where we're like, I just need more willpower. No, guess what? Your willpower, we're going to be lower this time of year. We need cues that are like, yup, habit stacking, right? Where it's like, okay, I do this every single day, right? I am going to put this thing that I want to like cue my brain, like, okay, after I, you know, for me, this sounds so silly, but it's like the first thing I do in the morning when I wake up is I take my thyroid medication because I can't eat until like 30 plus minutes. The longer, the better. So I'm like, take that, right? And then it's like, brush the teeth or, like there is like a whole system. We do it to make things automatic, right? You probably have a very nice system. Like in the morning, think about how your morning like goes. And when something is off in your morning, it like throws a wrench in your day, right? Where it's like that messed up my day a little bit. So we need those little cues to help reduce the friction, right? Of like, hey, I may not feel like going to the gym, but I'm going to go to the gym after I get off work. And maybe instead of worrying about doing the entire workout, because you know you're low energy, low capacity right now, and low motivation, low everything, right? We just focus on doing one set. You have RDLs, great. One set. That's all. That's it. Right? We reduce the friction instead of being like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do, right? I have a whole workout to do. Something's better than nothing, right? So instead of, like I said, reduce the size of the action until we don't need anything that requires motivation. You're like, cool, I can go to the gym and do one set. I can go to the gym and do three sets. Like, let's go. It's not try harder. It's like, let's make the action easier to start, right? Let's make it easier to start. And if you're feeling this, I could sit here and I will go through some examples, but you and your coach go through it, right? Go be like, I am noticing this about myself. This is great for your coach to know because like it's real. And sometimes, like I said, we think it's like a discipline, a motive. We think it's all these other things. And now you're like, no, no, it's probably just winter doing its thing. And we just need an easier action to start, right? So we need to simplify, not more rules, not more discipline, make it simple. So this goes back to like our capacity and capability. I probably should put this earlier, so I apologize. But again, your capability is your potential, your drive, your competence, your intelligence. Like this is stable. This isn't changing. This isn't going anywhere. You are capable. Like even in the wintertime, you are absolutely capable of the same things that you did in the spring and summer, or right even up until like the holiday season. Now, your capacity is your bandwidth in this moment. So it's very seasonal, it's very dynamic, and it's your energy, your focus, your clarity, your emotional load. It can change with your life, right? When you have a lot of stress on your plate, right? That's not where we need to sometimes add more. And that's where we feel like we need more control. A lot of times, again, we want to reduce the friction. And so winter challenges our capacity for stress, right? It challenges our capacity to handle our emotions as well. It like winter challenges our capacity for your overall like um sorry, my brain just like zoomed out and I lost my thought. But it does challenge you in all of these different ways. And there's different pieces of capacity, right? We don't just have like one layer of capacity, there's a lot of layers of capacity. And I think sometimes too, that's something that we can look at too. There's obviously physical capacity, right? Your energy, right? Your what you have. And especially during the winter, this is sometimes a little bit more out of our control. I'm not saying it's out of our control, but there are these variables that play a role in how we feel. Like I said, we're not making up like the fact that we're not getting sun and that we're having lower serotonin and lower dopamine and our motivation and drive is down. That's real. Cognitive capacity, our mental bandwidth, right? What we're able to handle mentally. And then, of course, our emotional capacity, which is like our nervous system handling all the feels. So these are all required for motivation, right? All three dip in the wintertime. All three are still trainable in the wintertime. And we want to build your capacity because building capacity is building consistency. And I think a lot of times we still think like being consistent means being perfect. Like if you have like these circles, right? Being consistent would be like the whole, full circle, full circle, full circle, full circle, full like 7 days a week. And consistency has literally nothing to do with being perfect. It's keeping in momentum, it's keeping our habits, our structures, our systems that work for us, no matter what time of year, right? So, the big thing we want to dig into is like, I'm going to talk about each different capacity and how it might show up. And these are things like at the very end, I have like a little audit. And that can also be really helpful because you might notice all three areas are low, but you might also just really notice like, wow, it's really not as much this capacity or this capacity. It's this one. It's like my physical capacity, right? Like right now, my physical capacity is fine. But I would say my emotional capacity, a little shorter, right? So if we're looking at it, this is where physical capacity can drop. Like our meals are more inconsistent. And usually, if our meals are inconsistent, we might see more blood sugar swings, right? The other thing that can happen is there's obviously the low sunlight, but you can actually have poor digestion. Our body, right, is naturally it's cooler in most places. I know some people are enjoying lovely warm weather, so you are so blessed. I mean that. But your body temperatures will lower, which tends to lower your metabolism a little bit too. Because our body's not as warm, right? That sounds weird, but it's very real. Your digestion can get off. And even if we're sleeping, sometimes because our circadian rhythm can be a little bit off, or like the sunlight exposure and things like that, sometimes we can notice, like, even though we want to sleep, our sleep can become like poorer quality sweet sleep. And so obviously stress levels can be really like heightened. So this is where your physical capacity fuels motivation, right? And this is where you can't really mindset your way out of the physical capacity, right? These are real things happening. And again, we want to flow and have structure, but not force. So I like to think of physical capacity like doing, like we need to think about what feels doable right now because we can always build off of that, right? But I want you to think about action because we always think it's motivation, action, results, and it's action, results, motivation, right? Always. Taking the action gives us the result, which yields, we get more motivated and we're like, give me more of this feeling, give me more of this result that I'm getting. So it's always action. So action is always going to win in this scenario. Now, things that can help if we are noticing your physical capacity is low, if possible, like I said, not easy, but if you do not have the sun, this is where getting like a sun like light can definitely just be a supportive tool. I'm not saying it will like change everything and you'll just be like, but they really do help. I'd say even red light could be really powerful. I know like even at the end of the day could help with like, like I said, digestion, things like that. Red lights help with like building up your mitochondria, which if you remember back biology 101 in high school, um, your mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, which basically is in charge of just taking care of everything, right? And so when our mitochondria are happy, our body's happier. It works more efficiently, all of that. So the red light as well, the vitamin D3 plus K2, like I had talked about earlier, having structured meals, right? Still planning. And this is where my brain goes to also taking away the intensity. This is probably not the season unless you're just really motivated to have new recipes and you need that, totally. But if you're like, oh my gosh, a new recipe just feels heavy, right? It feels like too much work to find and to figure out. Don't. Keep your meals super simple, right? Buildable, let's go. Keep in the protein, the fiber, the minerals. It's going to help your body feel physically better. Obviously, hydrating, drinking your water, you're not going to feel like it. You may not even feel as thirsty as like summer and things like that. But even if you can do hydration before you drink your coffee, can be a huge help. Moving your body and really keeping to a sleep schedule. Like that is so underrated, but it's such a powerhouse. If you wake up at the same time and go to bed at the same time, it helps your body know what's happening, right? Your body loves patterns, it loves routine, it loves regulation. The more we can do that, the better you're going to feel, right? So, what physical capacity does is it helps stabilize your dopamine. Yay. But the other thing we want to think about with this is nothing here sounds crazy. And you're probably like, I'm already doing these things. Good, right? Good. Because these small, predictable habits is way greater than intensity. Because we can bring the intensity when the season changes, right? We can bring the intensity now if you're feeling it. But if you're feeling this tug of war, like I talked about at the beginning, then we're just working against ourselves. And most likely, we're going to feel that hit and like that loop cycle of like shame and overwhelm and then freezing and all of that. And it doesn't serve us. So, predictability, things that your body knows, oh, we're going to get sunlight in the morning. Oh, we're going to get our meals. Oh, we're going to get sleep. At this time, go to bed, and this time, wake up. It loves predictability. It loves it. It thrives on it. And it tells your body you're safe. So, this can definitely help. And I know it's like, that's nothing crazy. Cool. We don't need crazy, right? So, that's that cognitive capacity. This is when you, and I'm sure this is how everybody is, brain overloaded with all the tabs open, and you just are like, I can't do it. I can't do all of this. I don't want to do all of this. It feels like too much. And even simple decisions start to feel confusing, overwhelming. Like I said earlier, like simple tasks, just it's like, why does this feel so heavy? And like starting things can feel really overwhelming. And then you tend to feel more irritated, which we already talked about. Why is that happening? So our decision load equals a dopamine drain. So the more decision fatigue, more decisions. So think back to when I said like people scrolling social media to be like, I need a plan. I need to get motivated. I need to go watch my favorite influencer who's doing their exercise thing. And you're like, I need to do that. No, all you're doing is giving your brain more decisions, right? More decisions. When we're like, I gotta go plan more, I gotta go sit down. When it's like, no, we probably just need a very simple plan. We don't need to add more discipline, add more rules, add more things. So we want fewer choices. We want to lessen the cognitive load. We don't want to add more, right? So if you notice you're like, I'm trying to add and add and add right now, your body's telling you, stop, please. Um, Simplification, right, is simplify. Just simplify. Just simplify. How can we simplify whatever habit I was doing before that I was crushing and now feels really challenging? It's like simplify it. Or if it's even like I'm still doing it, but I'm feeling like I'm forcing, simplify it, right? Simplify it. We need to override the overstimulation. We don't need to keep adding to it. So we need our decision load. The more decisions you have to make, your dopamine's naturally going to lower. Why? Don't do that. So, things that we can do to help, right? Reduce your decision load ahead of time, like which a lot of us already do. We're pre-planning our food. We know when we're going to do our workouts. But if you start changing and pivoting things because you decide like, oh, I'm always a 5 a.m. workouter and now I'm tired and sleeping in, I'll get my workout in sometime today and there's not a appointment, that's going to cause more chaos, right? Or you decide you're like, I hate my food. Okay, well, that's not working. Let's find something simple, doable, and something that you can keep up with, right? Pre-decide things, pre-decide your meals, pre-log it into MyFitnessPal, ask your coach, be like, I need some recipes, or I want, like, I'm always happy to share recipes too. Like I have plenty. If you're like, I am just craving chili, I have like 7 different macro-friendly chili recipes. You want one? Like, I'll send you 7. You could try all 7. Um, the other thing is what I personally do, and I do this for like home slash work, like they're kind of two separate, but I have, I call it my top 3. You don't have to do all of it. I'm just going to share something that works really well for me. Is on just like a regular like notebook, I write at the top my gratitude list and I write 3 things I'm grateful for. And then I have what I call my actionista items. So it's like the things that absolutely must get done today. Must. So they're like non-negotiable, like you cannot stop, you cannot go to bed until these things are done. Now, there's caveats to that, of course, but top 3 priorities, those are written down. I have then a do goals list. And that sounds really weird, but it's like the things that I want to get done that I may be able to get done today, but they're not mandatory, right? So if I do not get them done, I'm golden. I'm okay. My top 3 priorities, it's like I'm putting less decision. I'm deciding ahead of time what my focus is today. And then I'm also deciding what are the things that I want to maybe get done. But if I don't, I can just make those my priority for tomorrow. So I love using Post-it notes, Post-it. I know they're Post-its, but I call them Post-it notes. And I do like a top 3, next 3, easy 3. Boom, boom, boom. Top 3, my priorities, my actionist items, my must do, top 3. My next 3, that might be my top 3 tomorrow, but it's also like if I want to jump in, if I'm having a day where I'm feeling super productive, cool, I can jump into that. And then my easy 3 are like things I can get done in 5 minutes or less. Things like emptying the dishwasher. I hate it. I don't know why. I think it takes 200 years. It doesn't. It doesn't. And I've actually started stacking with making my dinner at night with emptying the dishwasher. Like I just now, it's like, oh, I'm making my dinner while things are starting to heat up and all of that. I just emptied the dishwasher. And it's literally now like that cue, that external cue I talked about earlier. That's literally what it is. Oh, I'm making dinner. Cool. Let's empty the dishwasher. Um, but that helps my brain um move into what is the need to get done. And you could make it a top 5. I don't like adding more, again, not more, but it helps me to prioritize like, cool, instead of having this massive to-do list, and I do keep a massive to-do list, but then I put that to-do list away. I pull it out before I leave work that for today, and I write out my next 3 for tomorrow. So I already know tomorrow stepping in what I'm doing, right? Boom, done. And then creating closure, task completion. Guess what? We love to like add to our list if we did something to cross it off because we get a dopamine hit anytime we complete a task. So that's why it's like have your 3 tasks complete and be done. And then I said this already, but if you are going and trying to research more and look up more things and do, remove it. Just not because you can't. You absolutely can. But no, you're choosing to overwhelm the brain. So if you notice you're like, I'm now just starting to look at fitness accounts because I just want to get motivated, what it may be doing is backfiring. You can do that maybe in the spring. That might feel better for you. But right now, if it's causing more chaos, or if it's making you overthink, now you're just adding more cognitive strain and your dopamine is actually lowering. It might spike for a second, but it's tanking. So if we can complete tasks, if we can make it really clear cut, so there's not negotiating of like, what am I doing today? What needs to get done? It's like, boom, I have my top three. And then tomorrow I already have my next three. So it's like pretty, and I reevaluate based on like the day, if something else pops up, something new pops up, because that happens. Even with me, it's like I had a plan, whoop, new priority popped back in. That's happening first. My list changed. Cool. Um, Less noise equals more clarity. We want to reduce the friction. So less noise, less people, less things, less. Um, yeah, your cognitive capacity will expand quickly with being simple. You will feel less drained, 100%. And then less planning and seeking information and more action, right? So doing, and I'm not saying big do's, like micro habits, micro things that will happen. And then, of course, we've got emotional capacity. And this is where we just do feel really overstimulated, overwhelmed, and our emotion load is high. So your motivation just drops, right? So we've got irritability. You shut down. You might uh, emotionally eat. You might get more sensitive. You might avoid things. Or you might be having the self-talk and the self-doubt and the self inner dialogue. Patricia is real, like loud this time of year. And the way you talk to yourself is so important, right? And that's probably one of the biggest things in this space with emotional capacity. And obviously, some of these other things, like if our cognitive capacity is overwhelmed, of course, we're going to have our emotional capacity is going to already feel a dip, right? So they're all connected, right? And so, biggest thing though is like the more we beat ourselves down, it actually doesn't build our capacity, right? Like that capacity we talked about, your bandwidth, it shortens it. The more we can do, but keep our body feeling safe, the better we're going to move through. So, self-talk, right? Your body's always listening to you. Even if you're joking, whatever, it's listening to you. So, a lot of times when we're feeling overwhelmed and overloaded, we start to do, like I said, the self-doubt, like, well, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get there. Or we start having these moments where it's like almost these extreme thoughts that it's like, why am I thinking I'm never going to get there? Like I'm having a harder time. It's now winter. I get that the season is kind of working a little bit against me. Or I should be doing more, or I should be further along and everybody else is doing better than me. Like we go down this rabbit hole. But all we're doing is we're getting your cortisol to rise, and cortisol is not going to stop you from losing weight this time of year. Don't fall for the cortisol traps. But what it does is it makes your body be on more high alert, right? Dopamine is going to fall and your freeze response is going to escalate anytime we go into this pattern. Your self-talk is going to probably be, surprise, your best intervention. Like it is going to help you navigate all three of these, especially your emotional load, but it definitely can help with all. So, you know me, I'm going to tell you, like, let's just get really curious. And this might be something to pause here, take these questions, journal it out for a second, or voice memo it out, or even like type it to your coach, right? If you're noticing like your self-talk or Patricia's been really ugly lately, or you've been feeling like this lull and you're like, what's wrong with me? All of the things I've been talking about, and you're like, go talk to your coach, right? Because it's like, what version of me does winter activate? What am I noticing as a pattern almost every winter time? How do I talk to myself when I'm tired? Where do I confuse my low capacity with my low capability, right? What emotion do I avoid that leads to me freezing? Like, what would my highest capacity self choose today? Does that feel doable? Like, you could add that question right here. Because, I mean, I added that here. What actions feel doable, realistic, and attainable today? Put that with this, because just because your highest self doesn't mean I need to be her right this second, right in this moment. And get curious with your self-talk and where you are and get accept where you are too. Like we've talked about acceptance a lot in different ones in different ways, but it's almost being like, well, this is real. This is a pattern. This is me every winter, and this is what I want us to do moving forward. So some things we can do, right? And I have like we've done the training before. So if you need to go re-listen to the one where it is talking about like dealing with your thoughts, do it because that one can be a really powerful one for this time of year. Like I almost thought about just doing a whole self-talk one about words and how language is really powerful. But we want to stop when we're noticing the self-critical piece, when we're noticing like Patricia being loud, when we notice the self-doubt or the self-beat downs, we need to be like, whoa, like almost like you're seeing yourself from like the a bird's eye view and be like, whoa, what's going on, girl? My three favorite questions, what's going on, girl? What do you need? How can we get that, right? And sometimes what we need to do is we do need to stop. Like we need to just pause and be like, okay, I'm overstimulated. I'm overloaded. I'm overwhelmed right now. Like I need to stop. Like this isn't me. This is Patricia. And take a minute to soften, right? So like inhale and exhale. We already know when, like we've talked about a long time ago, when our like cap flips up, this is our prefrontal cortex, which is like the CEO of your brain, right? And it flips up, we're now in your emotional brain. When we're in emotional brain, we don't make logical decisions. It's emotional, it's impulsive, it's random, it's not like thought out. So breathing can bring your CEO back on. Breathing, and it sounds so silly, but when you're in that like mind spiral, breathe, bring it down. Soften the jaw, pull your tongue from the roof of your mouth, breathe, drop your shoulders, all of that. And then see, like, start looking of like, where am I feeling drained? And you could even do a drains and charges, like, what's currently draining me, right? Write out a list. What's draining me? I love a good T chart. I'm going to give you two T charts. On one side, what's draining me? So think what's taking from my energy, physically, emotionally, mentally. On the other side, what's charging me emotionally, physically, cognitively, right? Boom. Look and see how many drains you have. And then look if there's any drains we can get rid of. Or it's similar but different, but T chart. More, less of. I need less of, right down on this side. On the other side, I need more of. Take a look at that. That'll tell you a lot, right? Start looking at what we're doing, what needs to shift or change, and then do it. Shift, right? We can shift our thoughts. Like I said, I'm always happy to work through thoughts. And we want something that will be believable thoughts. So, things that we can do, like if you're noticing these, this might be like a good one just to like screenshot. But your physical capacity, like you can start to notice like, hey, my energy is low, not my discipline, right? I will pivot and adjust my load today, right? Or your cognitive capacity. If you're noticing that one is really, you're just tapped out, your tabs are open, you're like, my brain is overloaded. One decision brings clarity. I need to like lessen the decision fatigue and create less decisions if possible. And that can come with like, again, top three priority, like these need to get done. This is what I'm doing. So it sets a focus and a tone and task completion. Emotional capacity. This is feeling big. I can sit and feel this feeling. I'm not going to shove it away and allow it to be in past, right? My emotions don't dictate what I do. I just need to get myself back into a place where I can move forward, right? When it's dark, right? 5 p.m. My physiology shifts with the season and I adjust with it, right? My body's cravings are spiking, right? My body's asking for comfort because it's overloaded. I'm going to respond with nourishment. And I have a rule, and it can be used with like almost anything. The 5 minute rule, right? And you probably, you know me, you've probably heard of it. Um, but that means like, hey, I don't feel like eating my food I prepped for lunch. I just want to order out. I'm going to just eat my meal prep for 5 minutes. And then after that 5 minutes, I give you my full permission to go order your food. Cool. Same thing. I don't feel like going to the gym right now. I'm tired. Girl, you're going to be tired. It's winter time. You're going to be tired. Just naturally, the body wants to rest. And guess what? It's like go to the gym and just go train for 5 minutes. Do one set, 5 minute rule. Just go. Um, when emotions feel bigger than normal in the winter, just reminding yourself like, hey, winter is amplifying my how I feel right now. I'm gonna support myself through softness. I need to take a second. Am I pausing and feeling my feels? Am I taking care of me? And then behavioral too. When everything feels hard, it's like instead of changing my expectations, I'm going to reduce the friction. How can I reduce and even have some fun or like make it like today at the gym? I'll be real. My husband's not here. I had to shovel a bunch of snow for a long time. And I was like, oh my gosh, this workout is going to be brutal. I don't know if I'm going to be able to push. And so I was like, let's play a game. I'm going to play, let's add 5 pounds to everything I did last week and let's see how it goes. And I know that probably doesn't sound like a fun game to everybody, but it was really fun. And I was like, ooh, let's do it. Let's see. And it set a totally different tone for my workout when instead of like it being like, oh, like this is gonna be a hard workout and all of this, it was like, yeah, I just probably just made it harder. And everybody else's brain was like, Sierra, you just added more weight. You made it harder. But it was such a glorious, glorious workout. Like I had the absolute most stunning time and I had so much fun because I kind of gamified it, at least in my mind. Maybe that doesn't work for you, totally fair. But sometimes adding a little bit of fun to it just elevates a little bit of excitement too. Or it could be like, cool, I'm just gonna go do one set and then I get to leave. You're already like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna go do one set and leave. And then I bet you anything, you're like, I can do 2 sets. Oh, you know what? I can finish this whole set of extra, like this whole RDL situation, all 4 sets or all three or whatever. So, reduce the friction, reduce the friction. And if we can, even just how can you make it fun, right? How can you just enjoy the things that you once and not make it so serious where it's like, ah, I got to check this box and walk and do all the things. It's like, how can we just, this is our life. Let's do it and have some fun, right? So, like I said, just some reframes. These were some more reframes here and I realize these are kind of vaguer. So definitely if you have like a very specific situation, like one, if you want to post it below, let's go. Or talk with your coach of like, hey, I need a reframe here because I definitely am being like negative Nelly and Patricia is being really loud and I want to stop her, right? I don't need to keep this negative loop popping through my mind. Um, just reminding yourself like I simplify to support myself. I have the capability and now I'm just expanding my capacity. Um my system is signaling, it's not failing me, it's just communicating with me. I love doing that even when it's like when people get sick, it's like your body is just trying to talk to you. It's just trying to communicate so you can help it and support it, right? It's not like a bad thing. Like when bloating happens, it feels like this miserable thing. And it is. I'm not saying bloating is this dandy, like walk through a forest, but it is like your body being like, hey, something's up. Like, hey, pay attention. Like, hey, I need your help. Right. And when I look at it that way, I'm like, my body's so cool. It's trying to help me and talk to me so I can make it feel better. Um, but just remind yourself like self-talk is not meant to be motivational. And I think that's what a lot of people are like, oh, like you're so motivational or like it's like it's your self-talk isn't meant to like jazz you up and then leave you, right? Because if we like try to jazz it up so much and we don't even believe what we're saying, one, it's going to push us more into that freeze mode. Two, it's also going to push us more into not believing, like if we've been already in this self-doubt or like this like beat up sash like kind of cycle, it's going to push you into that more. So you really want a believable thought. You want something that I always say, build the bridge. If you're in the negative Nelly, we don't want to go positive Penny. We want to build the bridge in between so we can eventually, maybe never, we don't ever have to go to positive Penny. I don't like that. I'm gonna stop. But the negative side to the positive side, and when we go over, it's like that bridge is exactly what we need to connect the two, right? Um, so if you're noticing, like you're like, I hate how I'm feeling, I hate that I can't get it together. It's like, hey, that's not totally true. Again, we could talk with your coach, but I also have a training on like dealing with these thoughts. Go back and listen. This is a good time. That's why it's great that they're here for a long time, that we can go back and listen and get the vibes. Um, and regulated language will unlock your motivation. Like I said, just changing how I thought about the gym today and playing like a little game with myself. Um, I was so in it and I was like, let's see. And then like when I actually added the 5 pounds and like crushed some serious weight today, I was again, action, result. I got like I did it and then I got so pumped. I was like, let's see if we can do it for the next set. Let's go. And it really did excite me. And yes, I was also like hurting and limping around the gym. Like I was fine, but like my legs in general were toast and my glutes, my hammies, my quads, all of it. Um, but like when we're in that space, you can seek and find that motivation that is low this time of year. So just reminder, your thought shifts into your nervous system, shifts into your behavior, and then shifts obviously into your actions always yield who you are and how you see yourself and how you talk about like all of it interconnects, right? So your thought will change how your nervous system feels and it can change your actions and motivation and it creates who you are. So your thoughts, you know, you know me by now. I'm big on this. Like how you talk to yourself. I have a rule. You just don't say mean things to yourself. Like rule number one is you don't talk bad about yourself, period. Because when we do, your body's always listening and it shifts in that. No, don't do that. Don't. And I'm not saying we won't ever, but we can get out of it. And then things to think about, and this is just like real. Because I know we've been talking about the capacity piece, but I like to think of it as like a bank account. Um, and think about your like a bank account resetting. And winter means you start with like less in your account, right? So normally like summer, you have a lot more in your account. And maybe spring, you start to notice you get like more in your account. And maybe fall and winter, actually fall for me is jazzy. I feel good. Some people I know the dip happens when like the time changes and like all of that. But things that like will help, all the things we kind of already talked about, sunlight, protein, keeping your meals, your fibers, your minerals here, hydration, boundaries, right? Self-talk, sleep, boundaries, saying no, even not adding more to your plate if you're not able to handle it. Say no. You can just say no. And then obviously things that will withdraw from our account and our energy and how we feel. Social media. I think I've hit that one enough. Your emotions, emotional load, too many decisions, right? Meals that we're not eating or trying to skip or like, oh, I'll just make it up later. Or even skipped meals of like food that like comfort food, cravings, things like that, like that we're dipping into or emotional eating that doesn't make us feel good. Noise overload or cold darkness. So just things to think about if you're noticing like, yeah, like man, I need to get off the social media. Um, and like it can show up like these are things, and you probably already kind of get the jazz, but like My macros were perfect until three, and then everything fell apart, right? In your check-in, you might say something like, I just kept opening the fridge and I didn't want anything, so I door dashed. Or I planned to train, but it was just dark and tired and cold. Like we can come up and justify anything. I went on social media to look for something and planning, and instead of doing anything, I just started thinking more. Um, I thought I was like ruminating in my thoughts of what I needed to do, and now I realize I was just actually overwhelmed. So I was just in my head thinking and thinking about all the things that I need to do instead of just narrowing the task of what I need to do and then doing and executing, right? So just notice if you start to feel like, hey, is winter messing with me? Maybe you didn't even realize winter. Maybe you were like, yes, I knew winter was messing with me. But I'm sure there's some people that are like, I didn't even think that it was winter. I thought it was just a me thing, right? But obviously, winter payoff, right? Winter and everything we do now is, like I said, that slingshot effect. Like we may pull back, we may reduce that friction. We may need to say, like, right now, I don't want to go into hustle mode. And you don't have to just because the rest of the world is, right? So build systems, right? Make sure your day or the things that you want to get done are repeatable, are easy for you to see, and easy for you to know, like, I do this, then I do this, right? More simple it is and clear, the less decisions you have to make, the less you have to think and figure out. Then it just frees up your brain for other things, right? Um, Obviously, every time that we practice this and do, we're just leading. I know we talked about that last time, like your future self is leading you, same. Even if it feels like we're having to pull back a little bit, your future self is leading you and staying in momentum and in motion this whole time. Even if it might feel less than what you typically can do, but you're staying consistent, you're doing the work, and you're finding things that are working with you. Um, just again, you're creating identity resilience. Resilience is everything. We literally talked about that last time. Um, we get sustainable habits that we can do no matter any time of the year, too. I think that is probably the most powerful thing, too, is if we do notice this shift with winter, it's like, what is my like floor? What is the bare minimum I can do that still keeps me in motion and gets me results that I don't have to keep adding things to, right? And then stop outsourcing your progress to be like, I need to feel motivated because no. Um, we know, like, just ingrain it. Winter is not when I'm gonna feel motivated. I probably will not feel it unless I like do something to create it myself, like today, my gym thing. I did that. But I also am super competitive. Um, I just am. And so I think that works for me, right? That may not work for you. That might actually pull you back and freeze, right? So it's also knowing yourself. Like I knew a little mini competition with myself was exactly what I needed to like gamify it. For you, it may need to look different because again, like I said, same thing. You may not be like, no, that's hard freeze mode. I can't even get to the gym, or it's too cold, or it's dark. I mean, it snowed like 7 or 8 inches here last night. And so I had to shovel a ton of snow, and I was not in the mood to go to the gym, to be honest. Um, but anyway, you stabilize your dopamine, which can stabilize your results. You're not having this like low dip and stay down. We might notice a little increase at least, or feeling better, doing always, I feel like makes people feel better. Doing versus thinking always. Um, and so, like I said this earlier, but like doing those little things that can help, right? Reducing the friction. So if it's physical that you're noticing, like, oh, I'm feeling low energy and tired more, all of that, it might be like, hey, what is like the one thing, not all of these things, right? I'm not saying all. What's like the one thing that I can just be like, I'm gonna really focus on like, hey, my meals and my nutrition has just been off. Or it's been on, but then my dinners are off. It's like, cool. Let's figure out a way to keep this simple doable and realistic, right? Not like, okay, and then I need to make sure my meals and I'm drinking a gallon of water and I'm moving 10K steps. That's again too much mental capacity, emotional, all of it. Physical capacity, no. Cognitive, one decision, decide. Like I said, creating, even if that system I shared doesn't work for you, create a system that's like, yes, I do not look at my to-do list. It's literally its own little list right here. And I put it, you'll notice it's here. I'm not there. But that way I have a running list. I can pull out the list when I need to. And but I'm not looking at this long daunting thing of all the things I need to do because then my brain's like, "Oh my gosh, we need to do that." And then I start doing that. And now I'm not completing anything and I'm just opening up more tabs and feeling more overwhelmed. So, simplify things. Simplify, simplify, simplify. And then same, watch how you're talking to yourself. If you notice you're being really negative, really like take a minute to get curious with yourself. And also let's start building that bridge, right? So all of this is like your macro habits stabilize your dopamine. Dopamine increases obviously our drive and our focus and like want. And then guess what? Your drive fuels your capacity. And so we just win. And what we're doing is through the micro habits, expanding our bandwidth for handling the winter time, handling this time of year, and also realizing like, hey, this does feel really doable and realistic, and I'm flowing, not forcing. Like I'm not trying to push myself into this compliance because it won't work. Like it just won't work. So let's work with you, right? Um, Here's a couple of examples. I promise I'm almost done. I know this is kind of lengthy. But like, okay, you want to skip a workout. Here's a couple scenarios, right? You want to skip a workout, it's cold, you had a rough day at work, and you just want to go home and be done. Like you're like, I'm done. Um, you know, our thought typically is like, I'll just get it in tomorrow. I'll just skip the gym. I'm tired. I'm not gonna probably like we start it goes off. It's not like I'll just get it in tomorrow. It's like, oh, I probably won't even have a good workout. I'm really tired. I don't think it's just not even gonna build the muscle I want. So I might as well just do it tomorrow, right? But what we can do instead is be like, cool, like, hey, I realize my capacity is really low today. I'm realizing like it is dark. It is harder for me to feel as excited to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym for 5 minutes and I'm going to do one set. Let's see how I feel after that, right? Like, let's just go see how many sets can I get in today? What can how much can I get done in 10 minutes? Like, let's find out. Let's make it a game. Let's do it. Let's see. And then you might be like, you know what? I'm just gonna go do my next exercise. Let's see how many I can get, right? Like, let's play a game where it's not so serious. We don't need to bring the intensity. We bring the intention, right? The intensity can come. I'm not saying no intensity, but is intensity what you need right now, right? Scenario two, it's dark out. You had a long day at work. You just want to order DoorDash instead of eating what you planned for dinner. And so obviously our thoughts probably like, I have no discipline. I need to just get something quick. I don't feel like cooking. What I have planned is going to take too long. Like, I just want to go to bed. Cool. Okay. What can we say instead? Like, I'm overstimulated today. I need a super simple dinner tonight. Let's pivot all the time. I pivot all the time. And especially my boys, like evening things, extracurriculars, like has gone up. And I've 100% this week, my hubs is gone. I've pivoted, and we've made it happen. And have they been the most exciting dinners? No. But is everybody fed and nourished and honestly okay and happy? Yeah, we're good. So pivot. It doesn't have to be super simple meals. Buildable. This is where buildable is amazing. You just be like, what do I have? And we can throw it into a bowl. And if you don't know buildable, I can always share my buildable guide. Um, and if that's something that we want to go into, like how to, meal plan and meal prep next time, we totally can. Because I thought maybe that one as well for this January training. Another one, you want to quit because you're just overwhelmed. Like you're like, I'm just gonna wait until later because right now it doesn't feel good, right? It's like I suck at this consistency. I'm sucking at planning or pre-planning my food, and it's like, no, this is just a sign I need to simplify, right? This is just a sign like my body is trying to tell me too much and I need to reduce the friction. I need to simplify. What's my next small step, right? Or you wake up exhausted scenario. Like why can't I get it together? It's like, hey, no, we're in winter mode. I know I'm gonna be more tired. I'm gonna want more sleep. I may need to relook at how I'm structuring my day. Is there a way we could look at your days, you and your coach even, where it's like, can we restructure things to fit how you're feeling now? If morning workouts don't work for you during this season, that's okay. Is there an availability to shift or pivot? For me, no. I like my morning workouts. So it can just be like, thinking of like, what are my anchors? What are my three non-negotiable things? Or it could be one to start with. What's my non-negotiable? What is my bare minimum that I will accept? And what are the boundaries that I want to do? Is there anything I need to pull back or say no to or, put in place to help protect me? And then like I said, breakthroughs, trying to like keep pushing yourself, but slowly and surely, with like little mini challenges can help. Now, here's the capacity audit. I'm not gonna like read through it, but you can like pause this and like maybe do like a little like, which one? Is it all of them? Is it one? Are you noticing drains everywhere? If there's one section, like the physical drain or cognitive or emotional, that feels heavier, maybe it's like we just focus here, right? Maybe it's like I just do really need to get my nutrition in check, or I really need to spend like the next month working on getting to more, and it might take longer than a month. But you know what I mean? Like maybe I'm just going to bed like 10 or 15 minutes earlier. And that's literally what I did, trying to shift my bedtime. I know I told you earlier, like I've been trying to go to bed like an hour earlier just so I can get more sleep. And so I literally have adjusted like, okay, I'm going to bed like 15 minutes earlier. That's it, just 15. And 15, then it just was like 5 minutes earlier. It wasn't like this one fell swoop of like, I just decided one day an hour. It was like I pulled it back little by little. And it's not perfect right now, but it's way better. I am getting way more sleep and it is helping so much during the season, so much. Um, but then you can like pick your thing and not, like I said, not all of them. But if there's like one that's really standing out, that's where we can start. Or if that one feels too heavy, where it's like that one's standing out, but too much, right? Cognitive overload, cannot think about that, then choose something that feels more doable, right? Totally fair. So do a little audit, like check in. And then you can choose like these aren't an exhaustive list, but just some ideas of like, hey, we can focus on that like micro habit. And this is where talking with your coach, especially if you're like, I've got the winter blues. Girl, talk to your coach. But I share this just because like micro habits work, right? We were talking about the force versus flow. This is going to create flow. You're going to make sure like one, we're in a place where things feel really doable. We reduce the friction, we keep you in motion. And what that does is eventually is it just pushes you into momentum, like where it's like, okay, an object in motion stays in motion, right? An object at rest, cozy zone, stays at rest. So if we can get the ball rolling, we can build on and bring the intensity back, right? And not in one swoop. Like it's not like, oh, boom, we just do everything. But it's like we can rebuild that intensity. But what it will do is we'll feel in a better place to handle it. Your system will be able to handle it. We won't go into freeze mode and we won't go into freeze mode harder. The self-talk will be in a different place. Your identity, different place. Your dopamine, serotonin, even though they might still be lower, are going to be more stable. So that is going to just help us again be in same emotion, in momentum in motion. There we go. So our strategy for winter, right? Simplify. simplify things as much as possible. How can we get the most bang for our buck, right? Stabilize. So keep it consistent, keep it stable, keep yourself stable, your drive, all of that. Make sure we're regulating, then we can build, and then we can bring that intensity, right? And things that we can always ask ourselves, like questions, because I think getting curious with yourself is awareness and acceptance are always going to help start the ball rolling in the best way possible. Where am I overstimulating my system, or you can think myself without realizing it, right? And how do we keep in motion, even if right now we don't need to bring the intensity? How can I still do? And then it goes back to it. And I'll say it 100 times because it's important. Doable, repeatable, attainable, sustainable, attainable, whatever, same. But not forcing. Like, what can we do, even if I'm having to pull back, but I'm staying in motion? And like we said, the an object in motion is going to stay in motion, and then we can build. I think of like a little snowman ball, like, right? It starts off really small, and you just keep the motion going, and you build a bigger and bigger ball over time. And it takes time, but we get it nice body and head and everything. Um, and then these are just things to think of like if, you know, the next 7 days, maybe it's just picking one of these things, right? Or if you are someone like me who loves to reflect and just kind of check in, there's all these questions for like daily, or if you're more like a weekly check-in, like, and if you want to even have your coach add some of these things or get questions and we can tweak the question to work best for you. It's like, this could be a really great thing if you're noticing this is a challenging time of year. Like, let's add that in and add it into True Coach as a question in your check-in weekly, that we can just be like, hey, what is your anchor? What are those like three non-negotiables you picked that's keeping you in a good place? Um, but yeah, like, I mean, I think I've hit this nail on the head, but we're gonna say it again. We're going to regulate the body, right? We're going to work with it, not shame it. We're going to simplify instead of like going into freeze mode and spiraling, complete instead of avoid, and we're going to anchor instead of hustle, right? That is the energy I want us to bring into this year. And the thing is, this will compound as we continue on. Um, and into a place where like when we do get into spring and summer, then we can, if we're feeling the intensity and we want to go all out, let's go. And if again you want to go all out now, you have my full permission. I'm going all out right now. So if you are in it, go. But if you're noticing that the winter impacts you, listen to your body, listen and work with it always. Um, but I just wanted you to remind yourself, like, we're in this space. It's like we don't need to be further ahead. Be where you are right now. And we're not in this place of like everybody else is hustling. I need to be with you with what you need, right? And this is where it's like we know we're not disciplined. We know we don't need the motivation, but we really do want to just rebuild our capacity, or not even rebuild our capacity, but or just build our capacity for handling winter and thriving in this season when we're almost like meant to survive, right? Um, and then honestly, if there's anything, I'll stop here because I know it's been a little long. But if there's any training you ladies want, please never hesitate to reach out. Like I said, I have some ideas. I always have ideas, but I always love to make sure that I'm helping and supporting you where you are and what you're seeking knowledge or information on, just to help continue on your journey. And I know a lot of these do tend to be more mindset. So if you want something different, like I'm open to nutrition, training, mindset stuff all the time, or other ideas. Like no idea is off. So it would be awesome, especially as I get deeper into prep. Um, if you have anything, just shoot it my way, like down below, or you can always shoot me a message too. So hopefully the winter goes more smoothly. And if you have any questions or thoughts or anything you want to add, just post it below.